Welcome. Today's focus is making art videos in 2022. For anybody watching this later as a recording, we are a Marin County-based open studios artist collective, and our event happens the first 2 weekends of May. So this year it's going to be April 30th and May 1st, as well as the following weekend, May 7th and 8th. I also myself am an artist, and I do acrylic on canvas, pet portraits, and human portraits. I'm also the director of my own video marketing and social media company called Caron Modern Media, and I specialize in working with female professionals and artists primarily. And I'm the social media manager for several Bay Area businesses and nonprofits, including Marin Open Studios, ICB Artists in Sausalito, and Marin Art and Garden. By the end of today's workshop, you'll understand a brief history of social media videos, what platforms and apps are best, why videos are better than still images of your art, affordable smartphone video gear, how to shoot, edit, and post a video, and then a little bit of homework so that you can potentially apply what you learned today between now and when our big event happens. So most people don't know that LinkedIn is actually the first social media platform as far as ones that are currently in use for social media marketing or advertising of any sort. And so if you are an artist who's interested in doing art for the foyer of a big business or office building, or to do kind of more abstract pieces for a lunch hall or something of that sort, then definitely consider having a presence on LinkedIn that, if anything, is more of just like a resume of sorts, and where people in that very professional platform can potentially see images of your art and the type of work that you've done and pictures of it in offices, things of that sort. Facebook, developed in 2004, has since become quite the behemoth when it comes to advertising and marketing online. However, for artists, it's not necessarily the favorite because it does have a lot of advertising built into it now. So when I think of Facebook, I think of a traditional newspaper format. If you think of when you open a newspaper, the content that you're reading is actually a very small part of the real estate that you're holding in your hand, and most of that extra space is ads. That's very much what Facebook is like nowadays. Conversely, fast forward to 2010 with Instagram, and that's more like a glossy magazine as far as the amount of real estate that's taken up on your phone. 2005, 2006, 2007. 2005, we had YouTube. This is a cornerstone platform if you want to have art videos on your website, art videos on the Marin Open Studios website, or to send videos and emails to your subscribers in advance of the events in May. So if you don't already have a YouTube channel, put that on your list, and make sure that at some point when you do have your first art video that you put it there so that that video can live on your website, be sent in an email, and be used for potentially social media. Twitter, which was developed in 2006, also now has video, which is crazy because it really was just a texting app, or text app initially. In 2007, Facebook launched ads, paid advertisements, which is important because Facebook has been studying the human psyche and our shopping decisions for over 10 years. And when you engage in advertising, meaning you give Facebook money to show your art to more potential buyers, you get access to demographic and consumer information about your followers that's much deeper than if you're just showing pictures of your art without ads. In 2010, Instagram was developed. This pulled a lot of people away from Facebook, and so eventually Facebook bought Instagram because it was taking away followers. 4 years later, TikTok developed, and it really didn't catch speed until 2020 with the pandemic, but it pulled enough followers away that Instagram launched its own TikTok type of video called Reels. So all of this is just to show you that there's been this big evolution towards video, and that all of these platforms are competing with each other for your eyeballs, for your downloads, for your time. And the more that you use video for your art and play the game on one or more of these platforms, the more that you'll be likely to sell your art to complete strangers you wouldn't have met otherwise. And that's all about making more money for your art business. So what apps do you need? There are a lot that I just showed you. The advertising behemoth, as I called it, Facebook, it's a commitment because it's considered more of a like relationship building platform. Like if you don't mind seeing pictures of people's babies and what they had last night for dinner, Facebook's a cool place to be because you can be like, what a cute baby, or my, that looks delicious. And that warms people up to you and endears you to them and makes it where eventually they might want to buy your art and support you, right? So Facebook is a lot to handle because of the advertising element to it, but it's also a lot to manage because you're managing relationships with people. So most artists currently in 2022 prefer just to go with Instagram. And part of that is that it is more the glossy magazine format. It's not so much text and ads and, you know, interruptive types of promotional content. It's just pretty pictures for the most part. And now pretty videos because of this evolution of TikTok. So if you were to pick between Facebook or Instagram to start with, let's say you don't have either, I would say start with Instagram. So I was talking to Habib, for instance, in the beginning of the session. He was here early. Thank you, Habib. And he was saying that he really has, you know, he feels like a lot to learn about the digital world. So, and that can be very overwhelming to think that you have to be on all of the platforms. So for anybody on this call or anybody watching this recording, if you're thinking, oh, I have to be in like Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, nope, just prioritize Instagram for now. And then maybe take on Facebook as far as social media is concerned. And then if you've got those two, then maybe take on LinkedIn. However, YouTube, which isn't necessarily a social media platform in the same sense, in the traditional sense, YouTube is a different kind of presence where anytime you make a video, if you do put it on YouTube, it makes it where you can embed it, meaning you're putting it into the body of your website, the body of your email. It makes a seamless experience for someone to watch one of your videos outside of social media, which is crucial because as we found in the last couple of years, sometimes Facebook crashes. And when that happens, Facebook, Instagram, and this other texting and messaging app called WhatsApp, all three of them go kaput at the same time because it's all the same server. So when that happens, you'll be thanking your lucky stars that you have a website with videos or emails with videos where you can still engage people with quality content about your art. And then these are social media platforms. This is a video channel. This is a video editing app that I personally swear by. I've been using InShot for more than 5 years for my smartphone content, for stuff made on my phone. And I find it to be worth every penny in the paid version, but currently I just have the free version. You either are watching ads or there's a, you know, a water stamp, or what's it called? Water, yeah, stamp. Anyway, it's the logo of InShot in the corner of your video. So whether it's like $5 a month or $50 a year or whatever it is, if you're interested in making art videos from your phone, which is the easiest way to do it, I would highly suggest downloading InShot. It's available for Instagram and for iPhone. I should say, not Instagram. It's available for Android and for iPhone. So any model of phone you have, it'll work. And it works for video editing as well as photo editing. And what I'm going to show you today are a couple of workflows that include that video editing capability. Hillary says, what about Vimeo? So that's right, Hillary. YouTube and Vimeo can serve the same functionality in that you will be able to put a video on your website or put a video in an email. And why the reason why some people prefer Vimeo over YouTube is because it's a slightly more pared down interface and they don't show you any ads at the end of a video like YouTube can be known to do. So it becomes a little, people feel like it's a little classier to do Vimeo. However, in the same way that Facebook purchased Instagram to have a competitive edge in the digital marketing space, YouTube was at one point purchased by Google and is now owned and run by Google. So while Google continues to be the #1 search engine in the world, the #2 search engine in the world, people, is YouTube. And you're saying to yourself, how is that possible if one of them is owned by the other? But the idea is that people look for things by words on Google when they don't mind seeing an article or reading a blog about it. But when they want to watch a video about how to make spaghetti, or watch a video about how to grow zucchini, or watch a video about how to paint with oil paint, they look on YouTube to get a video answer to their question. So that's one reason why YouTube has a search engine optimization edge, an SEO edge over Vimeo, is that Vimeo is not a search engine. You can go to Vimeo and explore around and look for videos, but I'm saying that people can look for something on Google, and Google will pull from YouTube and show them a video to answer their question. Conversely, people sometimes go straight to YouTube and say how to make spaghetti, how to grow zucchini, how to paint with oil paints. So the more that you put any content on YouTube, that becomes searchable content that can bring people to your website, that can bring them to your social media, that can get them to sign up for your email list, that can get them to come to your next art event. So that's the big advantage of YouTube over Vimeo. In general, videos versus photos. When you're doing video, you're thinking of opportunities to share a work in progress, and you can do a live broadcast like an Instagram live or a Facebook live, or you can record it and post it later. But the work in progress element is that it's not finished. It's messy, it's imperfect. There's really, if you think about it, too much perfection on social media and the internet right now. So people appreciate seeing the artistic process. What goes into that perfect thing? What made that so perfect? So another option for videos would be to edit a 1-minute video post for more traction. So you can do a broadcast, but then you can also just edit something in InShot, right? And so the reason why that's beneficial is that still photos are just 2-dimensional and they're really flat. And from the point of your brain, a video ad or a video post will leave a deeper memory in your cortex than a still photo with text, which means with the traditional advertising equation is someone has to see something 7 times before they want to buy that. If it's video, they might only need to see it once, because the audio visual experience, the fact that they are seeing you, hearing you, and understanding you all at the same time means that people know in the first 5 seconds of a video if they like you, know you, trust you, want to do business with you. We have another question in the chat. I have a problem with looking at art on video because I can't stay there and look at it. Hillary, that's an interesting observation. However, I would say most people understand that depending on the platform you're watching it on, you can always pause a video. So if it's like an issue of the camera's moving too much, or it's not on that one long enough for me to enjoy it, pause the video and look at it longer. I mean, I've had times where I will watch a video several times in a loop. And that's part of why Instagram videos and TikToks do so well. People will watch a 5 or 15-second video on a loop repetitively dozens of times in a row on their phone because they want to see your art again and again and again, and it's only up there for such a short period of time. So exactly what you're experiencing, Hillary, is what makes people make a video go viral. It's that they sit there and watch a video of your art 25 times without even realize they're doing it because it's on a loop. And they're just so hypnotized by those 3 seconds of that art that the first time they saw the video, it didn't give them enough. It left them wanting. It's a total tease. That's why right now, TikToks and 15-second videos are going viral for artists who aren't doing any advertising. You're not giving any money to the platform. You're just making short, cute videos of your art and putting it out there. And I'll show you guys a couple examples, but it works right now. So in a sense, you're leaving money on the table as far as digital traction that you could be building up just by putting this kind of content out there. I'm going to power through this part and give you some examples. Another example of a type of video you can make is a time lapse. And this is different than a video watching you or filming you for 8 hours straight. When you set up a time lapse in the corner before you paint for 8 hours straight, it takes a photo of you painting every X number of seconds in a minute. And then at the end of the 8 hours, you press stop and it will sew them all together automatically in your phone. It's built into your phone. If it's on iPhone, it's called a time lapse. If it's on Android, it's called a hyperlapse, but it's already built into your camera. You don't have to download anything. But you set it up in the corner or next to where you are when you're creating, you press start and it knows what to do. And when you press stop, it sews it all together into a super short video. So anytime you've seen a video of a flower coming up out of the ground and blooming to the sun, that's a time lapse. It's something where it's sped up something that the human eye really can't see the evolution of it unless it goes faster. It's too slow. So photos don't have that kind of flow and movement. Even if you show the painting then in the beginning and the painting in the middle and the painting in the end, which is great, having a time lapse showing most or part of the process really helps people to get sold on everything that went into it. Just the sheer amount of time that goes into art is best conveyed with a time lapse instead of just individual photos, because you can't see the flow, you can't see the passage of time. As I said, 15-second videos go viral because they loop, whereas photos on a small screen, like on your phone, are seen and forgotten. People spend so much time on their phones nowadays, see so many perfect images that you are just a swipe away from being completely lost in the back of their mind. Whereas, as I mentioned, video leaves that deeper impression. In a digital market, video content stands out. So again, anybody trying to compete in the digital world, it's not going to cut it just to have still photos of your art. Wherever you have a digital presence, there's now a capability for video, as we saw in our little social media history slide. Every single one of those, including LinkedIn, including Twitter, all of them now allow you to upload video. So it's kind of like no excuses. Wherever you are digitally, video needs to be part of your strategy going forward. And image searches, just to recap, are kind of like trying to take a small sip from a fire hose when it's running full blast. When people do like a Google search image or an Instagram search image, it is just too much to look at. It's too much to compare side by side. When people watch a video, it sticks with them. It's something that makes an impression instead of people feeling overwhelmed by too many individual pieces of content, if that makes sense. I'm going to take a moment here and we'll look at an example. One example of a more intricate edited video that can show, you know, just, or I should say, yeah, no, let's start with this one. So we'll start with a simple one. So imagine like the idea that a time lapse shows the entirety of a work. Video can also just be a small part of the work. So here's a video I did for ICB artists in Sausalito. And this is just a few seconds of an artist throwing some little circles onto a surface and then gluing them on there. And this is now on repeat. We've watched it twice. And this has gotten 127 likes. And if we look at the views, it's gotten 5,800 views. That's a lot. That's a good amount. So what you want to think about is that with any of these where you see these numbers, 2,000 views, 10,000 views, sometimes it's a really simple video that can get that many views, right? It doesn't take a big part of your process. She was just throwing things on a canvas. So if we look at a more intricate one, this isn't a time lapse. I'll show you a time lapse next, but here's a video I did for them for Winter Open Studios, which is, you know, in the fall and the winter. And this is 31 different artists that I captured in one evening event, kind of just doing a Vanna White to their art or the arms up. and now it's looping. So now we've watched it once. So this is of course a longer video than the first one we watched, and it's a much more intricate one because of the number of clips in it. But this has been the highest viewed video of all the videos that I've made for them on social media, and it has over 11,000 views and 445 likes. That's a lot. That's a good amount. If we look at a time lapse that I was mentioning as another type of video, because now you've seen a simple one, now you've seen a little more intricate one. Here's a time lapse. So naked canvas, and you can see I don't sketch first and I don't do a grid. I'm completely a free painter. And this was several sessions of time lapses that I then sewed together in InShot. So you can see how with this, there's sometimes an adjustment of angle that went closer, and then this shifted a little to the right. And so those are different sessions. I did one session for 4 hours and one session for 2 hours and one session for 6 hours. I didn't get the last hour of me finessing the whiskers or finessing the eyes, because you don't need to have the whole thing in there. A time lapse from the beginning, from naked canvas or from mold of clay to something recognizable, is all you need. For now, we've watched this video like 6 times already, just while I've been sitting here. That's how these things perform well. And this video of this little puppy time lapse has had 9,000 views and over 400 likes. That's a lot. These are things that can get you customers just by people having insight into your process. Last one I'll show at the moment, and then we'll get back to the main presentation. My client Anne Marie, the one reel on Instagram that I've done that's performed better than all the other ones is the simplest video I could have filmed of her. She's making a single stroke on one canvas. That's it. Just one stroke. Obviously, it's not on a tripod. You can tell it's a human holding the camera. It's me. I took this video of her in her studio, but it is one stroke. 345 likes, 7,000 views. So it doesn't take a lot, guys, to get traction online with video content. It doesn't take a lot. It takes a very small part. The behind the scenes, the imperfection is all you need. Little music, little caption, little optimization. Smartphone gear. So if you think about different ways of filming your art, there are 3 different kinds of tripods. There are lots of other kinds, but these are the 3 main ones I've used for my art. There's a gorilla pod, which has little bendy arms that bend kind of like fingers. So if you think about it, these little kind of bumpy, bally 3 legs here can actually curl and hold the weight of your phone while hanging from a tree branch or a nail in the wall. Just a nail. It can just hang on a nail. So this is really helpful for outdoors if you're doing plein air. It really helps if you want to film something directly over you, over a surface. But it's a little more of an outdoorsy approach. The gooseneck has a little holder for your phone, and then this clip is like a monster clip, like the super strong ones, and it'll hold to a table or it'll hold to a cabinet, any kind of hard, firm, flat surface that's not more than like 2 inches thick. So it's great if you're doing something in the kitchen, or it's great if you're doing something where it can hold on to a door or a counter or a table that's not too thick. And so I use, for most of my art that's on a canvas, let's say it's 12-inch size by 12-inch canvas and smaller, right? We're not talking necessarily 16 by 20 or bigger, but say 16 by 20 or smaller. I'm using a gooseneck, and the clippy part is attached to the tripod, and then this bendy arm goes over so that the phone is recording close to where my head is. So it's almost at my eye level. And so that puppy one that you saw, that's with a gooseneck. That time lapse I just showed you, that's with a gooseneck attached to the tripod, and then this longer arm reaching over so that the phone is recording right next to my shoulder, like a little parrot on your shoulder, almost. Do I hit the thing with my head? All the time. Do I knock it with my brush? Too many times. That's why you can see in the time lapse, it adjusts slightly or it changes an angle, because, you know, that's life. But you can see how even with those little adjustments, it's a compelling piece of content. For those of you doing big canvases or big sculptures or anything, let's say larger than 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall, definitely consider getting an actual tripod, or something like this is more of a light stand with a phone holder on it. And that means that it has, what's a light stand, what's a tripod? You know, a tripod or light stand like this one, it has 4 little loop notches on it. That means it can be extended. It's a telescoping light stand. So if you have something that's 8 feet tall, you don't want your phone near the ground. That'll make the painting look 20 feet tall. You were going to want your phone at your eye level, which is 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet tall. So that's why having a larger tripod like this, where it can go up to your waist level or your chest level, highly beneficial when you have a big piece of art. So you can kind of put it back far enough that you can get the whole composition in the frame. If you want to record any kind of audio to complement your video footage, like your voice talking about your process, definitely consider what's called a lavalier or smartphone mic. And the main thing you want to look for, there's tons of them on Amazon, just get a 5-star one with lots of reviews. What you want to look for is one with a clip like this. For the ladies, it's kind of like a little hair clip, like a little, you know, butterfly hair clip, but it clips to your lapel or to your shirt or to the edge of your turtleneck, what have you, your t-shirt collar, so that it's as close to your mouth as possible. That'll cut out any room tone, any outside noise, and it'll make the sound of your voice more distinguishable in the video, meaning it'll sound more professional. You can see this one has a traditional headphone jack on it, which works for Android, but Apple, with every new iPhone, they change it so it has different ports or less ports. So look for one on Amazon that says for iPhone, your model, right? For the iPhone 12 or for the iPhone 13, just so it has that little iPhone connector already on it. Otherwise, you have to use a dongle, right? The little iPhone white cord that you use to connect anything else but a charger to your phone, like other headphones. And so definitely invest in a lavalier mic. They're super cheap, $5, $15, maybe $25 at the most. You don't have to get an expensive one. It's a smartphone, you know, device. So LED lights and panels are helpful. Also little clippy video lights like this. This is actually a piano light, right? So it's supposed to help a pianist read sheet music. But if you think about it, it just covers a nice wide rectangular or square canvas really nicely with just simple white light, not adding any warmth or color to it. I work in acrylic, that's kind of shiny. I like being able to control the quality of the light on the canvas. So I'm not getting a kind of a glare off of it. So definitely consider using light of different sorts, big or small canvas, because if you don't have enough light on the work that you're doing, the video can turn out a little blurry or a little pixelated. The more light, the better. So how to edit videos with InShot. This is just a little step-by-step, but I'm actually going to show you guys a video of how to do it so that I'm not just describing it to you. Let's just show you, shall we? So this one right here in the center is the InShot app. Again, you can find it on Android or Apple. When you first open it, you'll have video, photo, or collage. I never use the collage functionality, but I live between these two. Anything that you see on my Instagram personally will be a video or a photo that's run through InShot first. I do it to brighten, I do it to sharpen, I do it to edit, all things, all content. I depend on it heavily. When you click video, just to give you an idea, yes, this does say 378 drafts. So it saves every video you make until such time that you delete the files that are in the video. So let's say you take a little time lapse, you make a little video, you post it on Instagram, and then let's say later you want to do a little finessing to that video. If you deleted the original time lapse or photos of your art, the video editing draft won't have those files to pull from, if that makes sense. But when it says 378 drafts, that shows you how much I use it. So we hit new, the green button, and it takes you to your camera roll. You pick a piece of footage. I picked a piece of footage for my client, Rosine. This is a little video I took of her with a newer canvas and me just basically stepping backwards and showing more of it over her shoulder. And so you can see that I'm dragging to the right, and I'll rewind for a second. So you can see right here that you basically have a little ribbon below your footage and two little white tabs, and you can drag it from left to right. So let's say I wanted to make this a little shorter. So then I actually drag with your finger on a phone to make it shorter, and it shows you that it was 7 seconds long, and then it shows you it's 3 seconds long. So the main reason that I use InShot is to trim a video like this from beginning to end, make the beginning a little shorter. So here's me pulling from the beginning to make it shorter, and then watching it to the end and thinking, that's 7 seconds long. If it's shorter, people will watch it more times. So I make it shorter than 7 seconds. And so all of this is just to make it brighter, sharper, and shorter for social media so that it performs. You saw what it's like with InShot, for instance. If we did any video editing in Instagram, the first thing you would do in 2022 is you want to find a piece of music that is trending or going viral, which means that categorically on Instagram, when you see a video and it has a little arrow pointing upward and to the right next to the name of the song, that means that it's going viral or trending. And that's an indicator to you that Instagram will show your video to more people if you use that music than if you use some random music that's not currently performing well. So let's say we're on Instagram, let's say we found a song that we like, let's say it's trending, 54,000 or almost 55,000 reels have been made with this song. And the last video or the first video that used this song has 3.9 million views. Does that mean the video is probably pretty cool? Yes, but it's because of that cool video that this music or this song is trending. And if you use this song on a video of your art will perform better than if you use other music. I know I just said that twice. So let's say we pick this song and then we say, yes, I want to make a reel out of it. And you go through and we find the video of Rosine that I edited. So this is actually, I pulled in the unedited version, and you can see this one's a little bit longer than what we just saw because she looks over her left shoulder at the camera. Oh, hello. But she's kind of squinting, and you're like, yeah, she's probably not going to think that's cute that she's squinting. So I make it shorter beginning and end. So if you saw that, I'll rewind real quick. We just go left to right down here, pulling those little white tabs, very similar to InShot, to make it shorter. This in-app capability, the fact that you can edit videos in there, means you can now we preview it. It's going to have that song on it. So I know we're hearing the sound of my voice and not the music, but you'd be hearing the music with the footage. Then you pick a cover photo, which is this ribbon. You just drag it left or right to pick what you want the cover of it to be. You type your little caption, you look for some hashtags. And when we talk about hashtags, just for a quick moment, this is where your optimization, meaning your search results, can be impacted. So you can see here that paintings, hashtag paintings, has 17 million posts that have recently used that hashtag. You are not a drop in a bucket. If you use that, you're a drop in the ocean. By the time you post your painting with this hashtag, 19,000 other posts have been uploaded since then, just in the last millisecond. So never use a single word hashtag unless it's like Sausalito, right? Or Tiburon or something where it's like a distinguished name of a place. But when it's categorically like what you do, like painting, painter, artist, art, no, never, never, never. You will actually get penalized by using too many hashtags like this because it is just, there's no way for you to perform. There's no way for you to show up in search. It's too saturated, it's too thick. Painting art has 2 million. Okay, that's better than 17 million, right? And if we go up a little bit, it says painting and paintings are a little different one to the other. Painting art. I think there's one more in there we can peek at. Oh, yeah, painting of the day is 5 million. So that just gives you an idea of like when you're optimizing a post. And then time lapses, which we just covered, and then we'll get back to the presentation. We go to your camera and you see there's a photo, video, more. Usually you have to swipe left or right to get to the more. So on your phone, it's not photo, it's not video, it's in the more. And as you open up that menu, you'll see mine says hyperlapse, but if your iPhone, it'll say time lapse, and you select that option on your camera. And then the hyperlapse will roll up and there's your button to press to start recording. You press it and now you can see it's not red, it says stop, so it's recording now. So these two numbers at the top are what is currently recording. So far 11 seconds have recorded and how much of a time lapse has been created. And you can see that at 15 seconds, and we'll go back, at 15 seconds, nothing had actually been recorded. So that means that the time lapse frequency is more than 15 seconds. What does that mean? It's kind of a mathematical equation, but essentially when you do a time lapse or a hyperlapse, it's doing the math for you up here about how many images need to be taken while you're filming your art. And so there are other third-party apps you can use for time lapses or hyperlapses, but the one built into your phone is fine. So just to recap, you download the InShot app if you haven't already. Open the app and create a new video project, that green button. You'll have to give access to your camera roll so that you can pull in photos or videos, select clips or photos so you can make a video of photos, right? One right after the other, like a slideshow. Choose the orientation, square, rectangle. So you can see this one, the video was filmed in rectangle, but the orientation is in square. So then it has that blurred out thing that you see when newscasters show smartphone footage on the news, right, on your big TV, and it's like you see the thing in the center is the smartphone footage and then everything else is a blur. So that's an option with InShot, is to just fill that space, but you can also just crop it to rectangle and make it either horizontal or vertical, and vertical would be what's considered a real crop or a TikTok crop. You trim to your desired length, so you saw pulling from left to right, the little wide edges. And you can add music. You saw that we chose music in Instagram to start with, but in InShot, they also have royalty-free music you can pull from. That means music you can advertise with, which is nice. And then you export what you edit to 1080 HD, which is the default, and you upload it to social once you're finished. So that's just a general recap of the InShot kind of workflow. As far as uploading to Instagram, you open your Facebook or Instagram app, you tap the plus button, you select the video, you adjust your crop or cover photo. You saw we did the cover photo for the reel, right? Sliding back and forth. Same thing if you upload a video to your Instagram as a post. Clever caption relative location. So if you are at Mocha, you should put the address of Mocha on every single Instagram or Facebook post that you do. It's a form of a check-in, like you would check in at a restaurant. So always use that location tag anytime you post on social media about your art so people know where to come and find you from Marin Open Studios. For Instagram, add 3 to 30 hashtags. Remember, don't do hashtag art, but you can maybe do hashtag art video. Any 2 or 3 word phrases are helpful than a 1-word phrase. Then you hit share. And with Instagram and Facebook, it can take a long time for a video to upload. And that's where most of my clients have had their problems, is that they make a video, it's great, they go to upload it, they close the app before it was done uploading, and then it's just like forever stuck, it never posts. So whenever you post a video to Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, keep the app open, phone or whatever, and just leave it alone until it's done so that you make sure that you haven't wasted your time or that you don't have to do it all over again. So here for InShot, we showed the trimming, but there are a lot of other menu options. Filtering means you can brighten it, you can sharpen it. Music is where you find royalty-free music. Stickers, text, speed. So when you do a time lapse, you can make it go slower or faster. So depending on if you do a time lapse of your art and then you press save and your iPhone says, here's your 1-minute time lapse. And you think 1 minute's a long time. You can put it in InShot, change the speed, and make it a 15-second video. With Instagram, when you post, make sure that you use any kind of tool in the lower left corner. It looks a little different on iPhone, but essentially it helps you select whether or not you want rectangle or circle. So you can see how this is, square. So you can see how this one is a square crop, and then this one is a rectangle crop. So you just want to make sure whenever you post that whatever it was in InShot, that you make it that same orientation here. And then when you select a cover photo, you can see just like in the InShot app, you're taking your finger and going left to right to choose what you want the image to be on your video, which helps people decide whether or not to watch your video. So if you were to make a time lapse, this is just in general how I do it, right? So I set time aside to shoot in a bright space. That can be daylight, or it could just be lots of lights. You charge your smartphone and you turn it on airplane mode. You're charging it because if I'm going to paint for 6 hours, my phone's probably going to die on time lapse. And you put it on airplane mode so that your time lapse doesn't get interrupted by a call or a text. You stage your area and place phone on a tripod. So when I say stage, meaning you figure out where your tripod or where your phone's going to go, and you reposition your easel or your art until it looks like it's in the frame. So there's a little actual staging and movement of furniture sometimes to make it line up right and look good on your phone when you're filming. You use your hyperlapse or time lapse function like we just talked about. You start working on your art and you could just completely forget about it. That's the nice thing about a time lapse is that it's just filming along, or say taking photos as you go along, and you don't have to think about it, especially if it's like plugged into the wall or to a little portable charger. When you're done, you go over to your phone and you press stop on the time lapse. Have I forgotten to do this? Yes, absolutely. I've gone and had dinner and come back to a canvas and see it's still time lapsing. And so again, in InShot, you can cut up footage, take out the big empty spot where nothing's happening with the painting because you were gone for dinner for 30 minutes, and just keep going with the time lapse at the same speed. Then, like I said just now, InShot is the app to edit your time lapses. Take out the part where you sat down for dinner and didn't do anything. Take out the part where your cat knocks over the canvas. Take out the part where, your phone fell. Like there's so many things that'll be like a little blip in the time lapse, and you could just cut them out. So it's kind of a seamless, smooth experience for the viewer. So here's an example. If you were doing a horizontal canvas, like a big wide horizontal canvas, you would probably film it this way just to get the full horizontal effect. However, if you were doing this canvas vertically, then you should set it up on your tripod for your phone to film vertically, and then you'd be more likely to do social media type videos like reels with that content. So you saw those little tutorial videos I showed you of my client Rosine's artwork and how we were editing it in InShot. Here she is. Here's that reel that you just saw me editing on InShot. And right now, as of this moment, it has over 2,000 views and 96 likes. And here it is. Edited short from the beginning. You don't see her looking over her shoulder at the end. And that's it. Short, simple. And if we look at the hashtags, painting reels, painting all day, Bay Area artist, art gallerist, abstract oil painting, right? There are a lot of really cool keyword phrases that you can use to help your video show up more in the digital sphere. Just so you can see that in the finished product. If we go here now to our final slide, and then I'll take questions. So your homework for anybody who's empowered on our workshop today is before MOS weekend 1, so before April 30th, use your phone to film a short vertical video that features a person, product, or process, meaning your art. Download the InShot app to your phone and trim the footage to a 15-second edit. So you can make it shorter, you can make it longer, but however you want to do it. Publish the video publicly to Facebook or Instagram if you're on there as a feed post, story, or reel. And then if you have a public profile, right? If you don't have a private profile, tag me on Instagram and I will share your video, which means that I will help it get more traction on whichever social media platform you put it. And so this right here is a QR code for my Instagram. So if you were to pick up your smartphone right now, if we're not already connected, and take a picture of your screen, or even just hold your phone up with the camera on, your phone should prompt you and say, hey, are you trying to go to Instagram.com? And you say yes. And then if you go there and you follow me, I'll follow you back. And then you will have connected with me so that I see when you post your video, so that I see you when you tag me. If we're not following each other, sometimes that notification can go into kind of a spam folder. And lastly, for those of you on the call who aren't familiar, I've actually done workshops for Marin Open Studios, which are all now publicly available on YouTube for your benefit, for your reference. So if you go onto YouTube and you search Marin Open Studios, you'll see the link for that. You'll see the playlist for these workshops. But also, if you wanted to type this in, bit.ly/MOS workshops, that will also take you straight to the playlist. And that includes Instagram, Facebook, email marketing, video, and if you are a Marin Open Studios artist, which we all are, updating your profile on the brand new website, as well as other really helpful resources and a few other speakers aside from myself. So be sure to scour that resource and see if any of those topics ring true for you, and then definitely check them out and let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to understand more. Does anybody on the call have any questions?
Hey, Caron.
Hi.
So InShot, I mean, I missed when you started talking about InShot. InShot takes the video itself, like Instagram, correct? You can take the video in InShot. You don't have to take the video on your phone and then import it to InShot, or do you have to do that?
I typically film on my camera on my phone. And then when you go to InShot and you start a new video project, it opens your camera roll and says, now that I say that, you're right, there probably is a functionality to record within the app. But I generally wouldn't do that, because when you're filming on your smartphone's default camera, it tends to have higher quality default settings like 1080 HD and right codecs. Whereas like sometimes when you're filming through Instagram or you're filming through InShot, there is kind of a filtration or a compression that happens with that content being filmed or shot through them, versus just like let the camera do its thing. That's why I say you can download an app for time lapses, but don't if it'll in some way pixelate or blur the quality of your videos, because it's being done through maybe a less sophisticated interface than what's actually built into your phone.
That's great. Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, it was very beneficial. I really enjoyed it. There are lots of information. I need to review the tape again and to see and try to digest it. Yes.
And so Habib, if there's one thing that you say was the biggest takeaway or the biggest lesson for you today, what would you say it is?
I would say that the introduction of this InShot and using the Instagram, which was really beneficial.
Right. And so for you, like you said, just getting started in the digital world, Instagram is a good place for you to start.
Yes,
because you can either make content in the app like we just showed you, or you make it first and put it there. But you have, as you saw with the client examples, a lot of, like hundreds or thousands of views once you start putting your art there. Right. So I'm excited for you to jump in and get digital, sir.
Yeah. Real, thank you.
Sure. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go around. Lauren, yes.
Hey, thanks for the helpful presentation. I don't understand how to link the music to Instagram posts.
So first, when you're on Instagram and you're looking at Reels, for instance, on your phone, you'll see in the bottom corner of every video will be the name of the song. And so then you don't want to keep watching, so you swipe up and it'll show you another video, and you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, you swipe up, it'll show you another video. But at the bottom of every video, it shows you these vertical videos that are supposed to be like TikToks. At the bottom of every one is the name of the song. And if the name of the song has this little gray upward and rightward facing arrow, that means it's trending or going viral at the moment, and that if you use it, your video will get pushed to more people organically without any advertising. Once you once you tap that song at the bottom of the video screen, this is where you'll have what's called the audio or the song page. And this is a specific little page on Instagram for this song to show you how many people have used it recently and which videos have performed the best with it recently. When you press play, it'll play a section of it. But if it's a full 3-minute song, once you use it, you should have access to the full 3 minutes. So in this situation where you pick the song, you like, oh, 54,000, that's a generous amount of traction already. Oh, the first one has 3.9 million. It's probably a ridiculously amazing, cool visual experience as well, not just good music, but that's also some good traction. So I'm going to jump on this wave, and you hit, you see I've already saved it, but then you hit below that, use audio. Then you access your camera roll, find the video you want to pull in, and it'll fuse the music to your video all the way up to posting it. And then once you post it, if you act quickly enough, you can actually download the video with the music attached to it, this copyrighted music, right? So that's where you can then upload the video to Facebook. You can't upload a copyrighted song to YouTube, that'll get flagged, but you can upload an Instagram reel with copyrighted music to Facebook and put it on your Facebook page or your Facebook profile if that's where you are. And then I know this is just speeding along, but so you pick something out of your camera roll, you put it in. This shows you, this little thing is the album cover we were looking at. So that shows you the music was there. And like I said, we're not hearing it now, but there's a music playing while you're watching this. So you're hearing how the music lines up with the video. And if you want to change that, right? So first we edit this down, editing. All right, so you're editing, you're saying, okay, that's like the perfect length, that's where I want it to be, and you hit preview. Now you see a different menu at the top. So this is where now the video you uploaded and the music you just chose, the viral music, are fused together. When we look at the top, this menu, you can download the video, you can change where in the song the music starts, you can add voiceover, you can do other kinds of stickers, drawing, text effects, filters, but the most important one is the music note. This is where, I mean, we've all heard the first few bars of Stairway to Heaven, right? I don't need to play it for you. I'm sure if anybody on the call doesn't know Stairway to Heaven, please put it in the chat and we'll have a training after the training. But in the first few bars of Stairway to Heaven, it's just a couple light guitar notes, right? Ethereal, simple, classic. About what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the track, you've got a major strumming, loud, like right? Kind of aggressive. So if you're choosing Stairway to Heaven for the video, for your art video, because it's going viral, maybe it will at some point, then here with this little music note in this advanced menu of the Instagram Reels, you can slide the song left or right, until it's right at the start of the video or right at that intense part, depending on what part of the song you want to use, which is great. That just really helps with the creativity. Once you're good with that, you move forward to the window where you put your cover image, you put your caption, and you put your hashtags, which is everything you do to make sure that people actually find the video, click on the video, and watch the video all the way through. And so when you do all of that, the music that I just showed you, we'll start from the beginning. Then now you see how it says Redbone. If we go to her video, you can see here Redbone. So now the song, we're on desktop too, so this looks different from a phone, but you can see that the song that we were just looking at is attached to now her video. So if someone else finds her video and wants to use the song, they click on it and it takes them to that audio page. So what did we just see? That before we saw that the video was getting, what was it? 54,000.8, you know, almost 55,000 reels when I made this recording for this training. But if we look now, it has 67,000 reels. So even if it right now isn't showing like a little arrow, it's probably because we're on desktop. It's still going up. And if we were to scroll down, it's still showing the ones that have performed the best, like 3.2 million, 212,000, 216,000. So my client's video with 2,000 isn't necessarily going to show up on this page towards the top of the results because it hasn't hit the hundreds of thousands of views. But this just gives you an idea of how you find music, because in the same way that we showed here, you can save music. So you can do a little music research on Instagram, find a nice little group of songs that are trending or going viral. And when you save them, you can come back later, make a reel, and it'll be saved there for you to pull into your reel from a little list, from a little, back end list of stuff that you've accumulated over time. So definitely, if you're planning on leaning into videos, leaning into reels, making art reels before MOS, please do it. I'm encouraging you to do it. Then start now by going on to Instagram and curating music that's going viral by saving it. Donna says, how to have a business account on Instagram. And yes. Okay, so Donna, on Instagram, again, we're on the desktop. So this is highly limited. But if I go to settings, because I'm logged in as myself, you see how this in blue at the bottom of the menu says switch to personal account?
No.
So this would say switch to business account if you are currently on a personal account, or it would say switch to professional. It would say professional or business, but there are three different kinds of accounts. There's personal, there's creator, and there's business. And creator is just more of an influencer type of account, like, women who get paid by makeup companies to post about their makeup, that kind of thing. So go to your settings, scroll down to the bottom of your settings menu, below help, that kind of thing. And you'll see the option to switch to personal or business. So definitely enable your business account so that you can see analytics related to how your content is performing and who your demographic is as far as who's engaging with your content.
How often should we be posting and stories, reels, regular posts?
Yeah.
To get more results?
So what's more important than posting frequency is having a pattern. That's more important than how often you post. As a visual artist, having a pattern on your Instagram is more important than posting every day or doing 5 reels a week. And there's some people who are like, you have to post every day. That's how you win Instagram. And some people are like, you have to do 5 reels a week. That's how you win Instagram. None of that's true. What's true is that if as an artist, you can maintain some sort of pattern, that's what's going to attract people to you. So when I do my pattern, it's obviously me, quote, me, someone else, quote, me, quote. Just kidding. But that's kind of it, right? I've had other phases where I've had other patterns, other formats. It goes back a long way. And when I have art, it's me and art, end quote, right? But essentially it's visual, quote, or if you're paying attention for the last bit, I've been doing a reel, a photo, and a quote, a reel, another reel, and a quote, a reel, a photo, and a quote, right? That kind of thing. So think of how if this was a week, let's see, I'm doing 3 posts a week, which is that's a high frequency, but that's a good thing to aspire to. So if we're saying 3 posts a week, they're doing 1 reel a week, 1 photo post a week, and then 1 other kind of photo post a week. You can do more than that, but you want to think of something that's sustainable. When we look at ICB artists, I took over their account a while ago just for Marin Open Studios, and then I pulled back, and then now they have me on regularly. So when I took over, right, before I took over, it was a mixture of stuff. As you can see, there's no pattern here. There's no art, human. There's no color story. It's not predominantly blue or predominantly grayscale. Like, you know, there are nice moments, but over time, it's not necessarily cohesive. Once I started working on promotion for them, I started doing what are called grid posts, where you take one piece of art or one image and you use a third-party app. It's usually called like a grid maker or photo grid or something like that. But essentially it takes an image on your phone and makes it into 6 squares that you then post in succession on your Instagram profile. This immediately makes it prettier. It makes it fun for collages because you can split them up. And so I did that for a time. Then I was just for that temporary period. And so it went kind of back to not having much of a pattern. And then I took over again. And then I had a pattern that was specifically to feature artists leading up to their Artist at Work event. And each one was featuring a different artist. And you saw one of the ones where she's throwing the glitter. And now we have a little black and gray, black and white color story. And this is like a lighter color story. So you can see how there's kind of a pattern forming. And so that's really what you want to focus on with Marin Open Studios. I haven't been doing as much of a video heavy strategy as I have with ICB because I wear a lot of hats for the organization, but it's basically been an artist pattern for a long time now. And it's the art sandwiching the artist like a little Oreo cookie. Sometimes there's a wider canvas and it justifies the art being to the left or the right instead of at the center, right? I didn't want to split these up. But for the most part, it's right down the center. There are other little thematic weeks, if you will, where I was promoting specific events, but otherwise it's a really nice scroll. Also, if you look at each image, I've brought every single one of these images that you've seen posted here through InShot so that it has a little bit of a white space around it. It just provides breathing room for people, just like you would have matte on a framed painting. And it makes it browsable for people to come down. So here we are getting into like Open Studios content, right? And here's what I meant by you can have a video that's just photos. Like this could just, you could go on InShot, upload a whole bunch of photos of your most recent art in order, put some music on it and save it, but done. You don't have to film anything. You don't have to be fancy with logos or text like this one is. Just images of your art and then send it to people and say, hey, Marin Open Studios, first 2 weekends of May, come see me. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to film anything. You don't have to do like a whole shoot. And when you do that, it's just that much more engaging for people than these still images. However, as you can see, as we've been scrolling along, let's say you were looking for a specific artist. It's a lot easier to find a specific artist when you have everything laid out in a specific pattern. And so for you, it's not like they're trying to find someone else, it's just your profile, but maybe they're trying to find a specific piece of art from you, a post that you did a long time ago. It makes it easier for them to go back in time and find that post. Oh, look, it's me, c'est moi. between my paintings. So if someone was looking for me on the Marin Open Studios feed, it wasn't that hard to find. You just got to go back far enough. So I dare say a pattern is more important than worrying too much about the frequency. And with other accounts, just like Marin Open Studios, I'm usually doing things like 3 across. This is my personal account. So, you know, I went through a human phase, but prior to COVID, it was all pets. And so I frequently pull this up and show this to people. If they're interested in my pet portraits, I'll just pull up Instagram. And then I'll always come to this one. This is another one of those grid posts where it's a puppy portrait split into 9 squares. So it just takes up that much more real estate on a phone when someone's going through your feed, and it definitely slows them down a little bit, and it helps them see detail. Did this individual post get a lot of likes? No, it only got 13 posts because people are like, what the heck is that? The individual post will not perform well, but the overall look of your account is like, this is not your average bear. Someone's going to see this and be like, wow, she had to post all 9 of those backwards chronologically in order for them to show up like this. Brava. Like, it impresses upon them. It makes them realize that you as a visual artist are constantly thinking of the visuals of your art. And it's only when you start playing with videos and reels that you can go from 198 views or 1,500 views to 9,000 views just by playing the game and investing in the app. For those on the call tonight, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your questions. Please document your process. Please video the messy parts of your art. Please share the behind the scenes studio experience with your viewers and your followers. And I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Ciao. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
Bye. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.